My husband and I had a commercial marriage. After we got married, he acted cold and indifferent towards me. It wasn't until I accidentally discovered his secret account on a certain microblogging site that oh my wife is so hot. Laughs, wow, my wife is so fragrant and soft, I really want to be close to her. My beloved woman is lying next to me, but I can only hate myself, my face instantly turned red. How can this person have two different faces? I accidentally stumbled upon my husband's secret account on the microblog. It all started with my cat named Barbara, who was super cute and somewhat popular on a certain microblog. One day, I posted a beautiful picture of Barbara and eagerly checked the comments section. I wanted to see how modern netizens would praise in a variety of ways. Then I saw a comment with a picture, "This cat looks really weird, even its name is weird. The weirdest thing is that there is another cat in the world that looks exactly like it, haha. Who's weird?" I clicked on the picture, and I couldn't believe it. Oh, this cat looks quite similar to my Barbara. I followed the clues and found the original blogger's account, casually scrolled through. I didn't see any cat photos, just a series of rants by LSP. Oh my wife is so hot. Laughs, wow, my wife is so fragrant and soft, I really want to be close to her. Today my wife reached out to grab the cookie jar on the cupboard, revealing a glimpse of her fair and tender waist. I really want to touch it. Ugh, how cheesy. But it was quite entertaining to watch, so I kept scrolling. Even if my wife has someone else in her heart, so what? As long as my wife is happy, I'm happy. I was suddenly filled with spirit, only to find out it's a melodramatic love triangle. I am the legitimate husband with the Civil Affairs Bureau seal. No wild man can steal my wife away. I love my dear wife so much, she is the most beautiful, kind, and lovely woman in the world. It's too funny. I burst into laughter like a goose. This person talks too much, with 5 or 6 posts every day, all about how good his wife is. I scrolled through dozens of posts in a row, finally seeing a picture of a cat. Ugly cat, always lying in my wife's arms, so annoying. I zoomed in on the picture, looked, and I was absolutely sure that it was my Barbara. Those abstract patterns, the ear missing a corner, and the arrogant yet wise look in its eyes, there is definitely not another cat like it in the world. And next to it was the succulent plant I had accidentally killed. Isn't this just my balcony at home? I was petrified in an instant. At that moment, I heard Kevin's voice beside me. What are you looking at? Why are you laughing so happily? I stiffly turned my neck and met Kevin's cool and indifferent handsome face. While he looked serious on the surface, who knows what he's like behind my back. My face instantly turned red, then suddenly shouted, "Ah!" Kevin was startled by my exclamation and was about to speak. I covered his mouth with my hand and begged, "Please. Just don't say anything." I felt a warm, moist touch in the palm of my hand, and I froze. What am I doing? I screamed and rushed into the bedroom, slamming the door shut. To be continued. I took a shower and got into bed, feeling drowsy. When I felt a slight dip on the side, I was almost falling asleep. I was too tired to ask what took you so long? Kevin said something beside me. I didn't catch it, just hummed a few times, turned over, and continued sleeping. In the morning, I woke up to find Kevin already up. I thought I would be too nervous to sleep sharing a bed for the first time, but I actually slept quite soundly. However, I had nightmares all night, dreaming of 10 suns in the sky burning me. I guess the air conditioning temperature was too high last night. I reached for my phone and opened a certain social media platform to check my source of joy. Wow, Kevin had posted dozens of updates. My wife looks so cute and lovely when she's asleep. That darn cat dared to steal my spot. The love of my life is lying next to me, but I can only hate myself. She worries about me being scared, she has me in her heart. I wanted to massage my wife's legs, but unexpectedly, I hugged my wife for the first time. She smells so good and feels so soft, her waist is slender, and I really want to. Horror movies are not good, but my wife looks good. I also did the dishes for my wife today, feeling happy. She loves cooking, I love doing the dishes, we are just made for each other. I chuckled while reading and tried hard to hold back my laughter, but still laughed until my hands shook. I accidentally clicked follow. I quickly unfollowed, but it made me feel a bit guilty. This is my alternate account, there's nothing on it, so following should be fine. I was in a dilemma, repeatedly following and then canceling. Then, Kevin followed me. He even sent me a private message? It scared me so much that my phone fell, hitting my face directly. Ouch, that hurt. I picked up my phone, thought for a while, and replied with a smiling emoji to Kevin, "Hello, may I ask who you are?" "I am your wife." I typed, I'm also a slave to my wife. I love my wife very much. I made up a cheesy story about secretly loving my wife for years and finally succeeding in gaining Kevin's trust. To say the least, Kevin felt like he had found a kindred spirit and expressed his desire to be friends with me. I typed, yes, as long as you love your wife, we are good friends. Kevin, handshake, me, handshake. Then I started probing him, you love your wife so much, you two must be very sweet together. Kevin took a while to reply, to be honest, my wife doesn't like me. I was astonished by his response and continued to deceive him, bro, we are in the same boat, my wife and I also had an arranged marriage. Kevin immediately got excited. And I could feel his jubilation even through the screen. How did you do it? Teach me, I can pay you tuition fees, name your price. The fish took the bait. I smirked and continued typing, I don't need money, just consider it a good deed. Loving your wife is something every man should do. Tell me about your situation with her. After a series of cons followed by Kevin, he opened up, my wife and I had a business marriage, I invested in her family's company, and she married me. But I know she has an unrequited love in her heart and I dare not touch her for fear of making her hate me. You know, before we got married, I specifically learned a lot of things, but I haven't used any of them yet. I was full of question marks. What did you learn? Kevin, I can't tell you in detail, will I get banned? Kevin also sent me a meme indicating my understanding. Me, I shouldn't have said that. Kevin bombarded me with over a dozen messages, leaving me completely confused. So he has been acting all aloof and reserved all day long because he's scared I'll dislike him? Wow, and I thought it was him who disliked me. I, a beauty like a flower and a jade, kept flashing in front of him every day, and he never glanced at me properly. Besides, how come I didn't know I had an unrequited love? Me, professional match made in heaven, bro, I am the stand-in who finally took over. Kevin. Can you be my teacher then? Teacher, how should I proceed? For better teaching, we exchanged WeChat, but I gave him my alternate account. After adding him as a friend, I started teasing him. Know yourself and know your enemy, 100 battles, 100 victories. First, you need to know what your wife's unrequited love is like, so you can defeat him and then replace him. Kevin immediately replied, I had someone check, but they couldn't find anything, that person is too mysterious. He is a cunning and powerful opponent. Wait. Are you investigating me in secret? I was furious and felt like smashing the screen. Why not just ask directly? Kevin? Teacher, why are you angry? I didn't reply to Kevin's message and focused on playing with Barbara. Throughout the morning, Kevin kept circling around me, looking hesitant to speak. I played with the cat, and he pretended to play with his phone. I cooked, and he was in the kitchen sorting out leaves. I went to the bathroom, and he followed me in, only to be kicked out by me. It wasn't until we were facing each other at the dining table that his gaze seemed like it could pierce a hole through me, and I couldn't bear it anymore. Do you have something to say? Kevin put down his chopsticks and said in a dry tone after a pause, I watched a movie recently with the main characters being childhood sweethearts. It was quite touching. I replied, oh, is it good? Kevin, it's okay. He paused and said in a stiff manner, I heard you had a childhood sweetheart? I pretended to think hard and noticed Kevin nervously watching me. Childhood sweetheart? No, not really. Kevin's eyes lit up as if he had found immense courage. I recently watched a movie where the male lead is the true love of the female lead in this life, an unrequited love. He intentionally emphasized the 3 words, unrequited love. I found it amusing and asked him for more. Then what happened? Do you have any unrequited love in your life? I blinked in confusion. No, not really. Kevin couldn't hide his happiness, and he dramatically continued, I also watched a movie recently, the protagonist. All right, I interrupted him directly, how many movies have you watched behind my back recently? Just say it. After a pause, Kevin blushed and whispered, are you very close to M? I raised an eyebrow slightly, where did you hear that name? Kevin hesitated for a moment, looking somewhat nervous. During the time you were poisoned by mushrooms, you kept saying this name. You said it bit you. Kevin blushed and couldn't continue. I nodded, yes, once I stupidly touched it, it chased me for 3 blocks and finally bit me. Kevin stared at me with a dumbfounded expression. I couldn't resist and flicked his forehead, fool, Am is the husky of my neighbor. Kevin still looked dazed, he touched his forehead and then looked at me, chuckling sheepishly. So, it was a misunderstanding. Pretending not to understand, I asked, what's the misunderstanding? There isn't anything. Kevin regained his usual aloof demeanor. He picked up his phone calmly, typed swiftly. However, the slight upturn of his lips betrayed his true feelings. My phone placed on the table suddenly started buzzing. He sent a message, and my phone beeped. Kevin paused when he saw me receive a message and slowly shifted his gaze to my phone screen. Damn it. I forgot to mute my phone. I pretended to remain calm, picked up my phone, and opened a chat with my best friend, typing quickly. Send me messages, the more, the merrier. My best friend replied with a question mark at first, then flooded me with emojis. The phone kept buzzing, and I lamented acting. Oh, again, Hammer is constantly causing trouble, threatening to break up every few days, always coming to me for mediation. At the same time, I observed Kevin's reaction from the corner of my eye. Why is he still staring at my phone? I realized it wasn't good and decided to get ahead of him. You were laughing while typing earlier. Did you see a funny joke? Kevin looked as if he had just woken up from a dream. Huh? I pointed to his phone. Can I see it? Let me have some fun too. No. Kevin stood up quickly and walked away. After taking a couple of steps, he turned back to look at me, saying nonchalantly, "This isn't funny, I'll find something funny to send you." I nodded and watched him walk briskly into the study. As soon as Kevin entered the room, my phone started buzzing. I quickly silenced it, opened WeChat, and read his message. Teacher, your teaching really works. I inquired. Turned out my wife doesn't have an unrequited love. Teacher, there's someone named Hammer who keeps messaging her. The name sounds like a male. Could he be a rival? Teacher, why are you ignoring me? I replied, busy spending time with my wife. Kevin, liked. Teacher, you are truly an example to us. Teacher, what should I do next? Well, you've asked the right person. Girls, they love to be loved boldly, warmly, and directly, emphasizing, with a slight inclination towards favoritism. Your task is to make her feel your affection, got it? Kevin humbly asked for guidance. Teacher, how exactly should I do it? This question stumped me a bit, considering I've never been in a romantic relationship. I pondered for a moment and replied, speak up when necessary, act when needed, you'll have to figure it out yourself. Kevin hesitated. Do it directly? Isn't that too much? Embarrassing me? Do you have the yellow river flowing in your mind? This river seems to be turbulent, with raging waves and surging tides. I was exasperated. You have an irredeemable mind. Kevin, teacher, please don't give up on me. I'm a good student. A good student indeed, just not a good learner. I lay on the couch and read through the joke collection Kevin sent me. Not as funny as Kevin's updates on a certain social media platform. I was about to open the platform for some entertainment when I heard a faint noise from the study. Hastily switching screens, I continued to read the jokes. Out of the corner of my eye, I saw Kevin walk directly to the sofa and sit down, giving me a deep look. Have you gained weight again recently? I was confused. Really? Do I look fat? Kevin nodded sincerely. Otherwise, why does the weight of you in my heart keep getting heavier? I fell silent. I was speechless. A distant flute is heard. Kevin abruptly fled. I was in the kitchen cutting vegetables when I asked Kevin to bring me some meat from the fridge. Kevin walked over to me with 2 pieces of meat. This is beef, this is pork. I stopped my actions and looked at him, hinting that he needed to hurry up. Blushing, Kevin said, you are the apple of my eye. I raised the kitchen knife expressionlessly. Then put the meat down, turned around, and left. Kevin mechanically followed my instructions, even thoughtfully closing the kitchen door on his way out. In the evening, while holding Barbara on the balcony under the moonlight, Kevin suddenly appeared and sat beside me. He cleared his throat, not looking at me. Do you know the difference between you and the stars? I replied instantly, the stars are in the sky, you are in my heart. Kevin shook his head abruptly, looking shocked. Before I could comment on how cheesy those lines were, I saw Kevin's face turning red at a visible speed. Kevin stood up abruptly, knocking over the chair with his exaggerated movements. Hastily picking up the chair, he then accidentally bumped into the wind chime on the wall with his head and stumbled out while holding his head. I looked down at Barbara. Is your dad acting silly? Barbara, meow. The surprises Kevin brought were far from over. Early the next morning, I was chasing after a long-legged cake, about to catch it, when it suddenly exploded in front of my eyes with a bang. I woke up with a start, patting my chest, realizing it was just a dream. Bang. A loud noise came from the kitchen. I was puzzled as I got out of bed. Could it be Barbara messing around in the kitchen? But that shouldn't be possible. I locked the kitchen door yesterday. I walked to the kitchen doorway and fell silent. Kevin was sweating profusely, fighting with a fish on the cutting board. The fish was flapping around, and he was chopping randomly with a kitchen knife. The fish jumped off the counter, landing at my feet. Kevin and I looked at each other with surprise. I joked, "Oh, a murder scene?" Kevin didn't laugh. He said seriously, "Sit on the sofa and wait, I'll make breakfast for you." I peeked into the kitchen. What are you preparing? Kevin moved my head back and listed the dishes seriously. Sweet and sour pork ribs, squirrel-shaped mandarin fish, cola chicken wings, steamed hairy crab. These were all dishes I loved. I was touched, but I didn't want the kitchen to be destroyed after this meal. I patted Kevin's shoulder. Let's keep it simple for breakfast. There are dumplings I made in the freezer on the second shelf of the fridge. You can cook them. An hour later, Kevin brought the dumplings to the table. I looked at my bowl of still intact dumplings and then at his bowl of pork and mushroom noodle soup. I got up to get another bowl. I scooped half of my dumplings into his bowl, asking, "Why did you suddenly start cooking?" Kevin obediently took the bowl, hesitated, and said, "I didn't know cooking was this hard." I gave him a curious look. "Well, I like cooking, so it's fine for me." Kevin shook his head and fell silent. After the meal, I opened my phone and was bombarded with messages from Kevin. From last night until now, Kevin, the chatterbox, hadn't stopped, even when I was asleep. Teacher, I have made progress. My wife told me, the stars are in the sky, you are in my heart, I'm so happy. Teacher, I found a book that I think makes a lot of sense, can you help me take a look? Link, First Marriage and Then Love, 36 Strategies of Love. Teacher, the book says to win a woman's heart, one must first win her stomach. I decided to make a special breakfast for my wife tomorrow. As I scrolled down, I saw Kevin's latest message. Teacher, I failed. Cooking is so difficult. Teacher, our division of labor is that my wife cooks and I do the dishes, but today I realized cooking is so hard. I quit being a chef before so I could eat my wife's cooking every day. I should die. I should die. Uncontrollably, a scene of Kevin waking up in the middle of the night and slapping himself came to my mind. A bit scary. Thinking about this, I quickly comforted him. Is your wife angry with you? Kevin replied instantly, no, she shared half of the food with me. I said, that means the result is still good, it's just your approach that was wrong. You should do what you're good at, show your capabilities. 5 minutes later, Kevin replied, I see, teacher. I put the phone away, lifted Barbara's paw, and stared into her eyes. Dad seems to understand now. Meow. 2 hours later, the doorbell rang. I opened the door and faced a flower shop employee carrying a huge bouquet of roses. Are you Miss Ruan? This is a customized bouquet of 999 roses from Mr. Shen for you. I felt a headache coming on, can you take it back? The employee smiled, I'm sorry, that's not possible. I had to let them bring it in, and as they put the flowers down, a 3-meter-wide banner unfolded. It read, Happy 357th day anniversary of Kevin and Catherine's marriage. I felt numbed up, but it wasn't over yet. An hour later, the doorbell rang again. This time it was a salesperson from a luxury brand, holding 7 or 8 orange shopping bags, smiling at me, Miss Ruan, these are the new bags ordered by Mr. Kevin for you. After 3 or 4 groups of people followed, I was almost drowned in shopping bags in the dressing room. I was completely flabbergasted. Kevin arrived late, leaning against the doorframe and saying casually, I think this dressing room is a bit small, I'll have someone knock down the wall tomorrow so there'll be more space. I immediately halted his extravagant idea and took out my phone to text. Kevin's phone rang. He looked at his phone and his expression changed. He quickly walked into the study. Teacher, what's wrong? I typed quickly, what have you been up to? Kevin promptly reported what he had been up to, his words full of pride. Teacher, not bad, right? I couldn't help but ask, what's the purpose of all this? Kevin replied, to show off my financial capability. No problem. After filling all the vases in the house with flowers, I was desperate. Seeing my home turn into a sea of flowers, that bouquet of roses was not even a third less. I knocked on the study door upstairs. Come out with me for a while. Kevin immediately went to change, asking, are we going to buy vases? I followed him into the dressing room. No, but there's something else. Don't wear that shirt that costs over 80,000, find something plain looking. Kevin obediently put the shirt back and picked up a t-shirt, asking with his eyes if it was okay. I nodded. He was about to change out of his loungewear when he suddenly paused, looking puzzled. I covered my eyes with my hand, urging him, go on, I won't look. Kevin didn't respond, but his ears turned red. I could hear the fabric rubbing sound as he changed clothes, and I discreetly peeked through a tiny gap between my fingers. Those abs, broad shoulders, clavicles, all hidden so well. I gradually lifted my gaze. That mouth looks so kissable. High nose bridge. We locked eyes. Ack. I quickly turned around, and behind me came Kevin's voice with a hint of a smile. Does it look good? In my mind, I secretly answered, it looks good. You can touch it. My cheeks instantly turned red. Oh my god, what kind of teasing is this? No touching. Hurry up and change clothes, I'll be waiting for you downstairs. I said as I ran off, not seeing the significant look in Kevin's eyes behind me. Kevin and I loaded the roses into the car and arrived at a bustling intersection. Opening the trunk, the radiant red roses shone under the streetlights. I took out the pre-written sign, red roses, 9.93 stems. After placing the sign, we brought out 2 small stools and motioned for Kevin to sit down. I had been worried that Kevin might feel uncomfortable, but he seemed quite pleased. The roses were of good quality, sold at an affordable price, and the business picked up quickly. First there was a couple, then a group of chattering high school students, followed by an elderly couple. After a while, a young boy arrived with a handful of coins, earnestly asking if he could buy only 2 stems. I squatted down and teased him, "Who are you buying the flowers for?" The boy said he wanted to give them to his wife. I chuckled at his innocence, looking at the little guy in front of me. "Are you already in kindergarten?" The boy said earnestly, "Sister, I'm in kindergarten, in the kindergarten class." Suddenly, Kevin handed over a bunch of roses directly to me, placing it between the 2 of us. The boy and I looked at him with confusion. With a sincere expression, Kevin said, "When you're giving flowers to your wife, you should give her the best." The boy was puzzled for a moment, somewhat flustered. "But I can't afford it." Kevin immediately said, "Take it, go give it to your wife." Was this mutual understanding between those with love-infused brains? I was speechless, pushing Kevin aside and pinching the chubby cheeks of the young boy. "Can you help us run errands?" "It could offset some of the money," I asked. The young boy agreed. I instructed him to buy a candied haw and handed him a rose when he came back. The young boy held the flower and bowed to us, solemnly saying, wishing the brother and sister 100 years of happiness. Kevin was delighted. This kid is really articulate. I handed him the candied haw and said with a smile, "Bought it for you, thank you for coming out with me to sell." Kevin remained calm, accepting the candied haw and replied, "You're welcome," then turned around and started typing. I checked my phone quickly. My wife had offered to buy me a string of candied haw. Happy from that day on, Kevin seemed to have a breakthrough. He texted me on WeChat, "Teacher, I feel like I'm not doing well in one aspect. I'm not fully showcasing my personal charm." After some thought, I found his point valid, so I encouraged him to be bold. Kevin then asked, "Teacher, can you give me some specific advice on what to do? I don't know how to do it either. But since the students have asked, I can't let him down. Just flirt with her, use your good looks to seduce her. Like accidental physical contact, not dressing properly, goodnight kisses, let her touch your abs." My face turned red as I typed, inadvertently thinking of some inappropriate scenarios. Stop. Kevin is corrupting me with his thoughts. I sent the message. Kevin's response sounded smug, "Teacher, how do you know I have abs?" I had seen them. Can't say that, so I quickly responded by bluffing. Abs are a staple of successful men, right? I have abs, you must have them too. Kevin replied immediately, "I do, thank you teacher." Indeed, Kevin was indeed a clever and studious student. That evening, he came out of the bathroom, drying his hair, and looked at me, suddenly saying, "Catherine, can you help me blow dry my hair?" My gaze uncontrollably fell on his 6-pack abs. "Sure, I can." Kevin sat on the bed, I stood next to the bed, his neckline loose, revealing everything that should and should not be seen. I tried to focus on drying his hair. Kevin's hair was jet black and soft, couldn't help but run my fingers through it. Then I noticed his ears turning red. He was really innocent, internally screaming. I maintained a calm demeanor on the surface, laughing secretly after Kevin left. Soon after, Kevin became more brazen. Sitting next to me at meals, lying on my lap while watching movies, even offering me massages. I enjoyed it, but Kevin had a new worry. "Teacher, I'm trying to flirt with my wife, but she's not responding. Am I doing it wrong?" I replied, "Maybe you're not trying hard enough. Your wife might not have noticed." Kevin asked, "Teacher, should I just pounce on her?" My typing paused. Perhaps that wasn't a bad idea. As I hesitated on how to reply, I heard footsteps approaching. I quickly put away my phone, grabbed a book nearby, pretending to read it. Kevin sat down beside me quietly, staring at me. I put down the book, fake smiled, and tried to lighten the mood. "What? Your book is upside down." Haha, oops. But Kevin didn't laugh. He leaned in slowly, his eyes showing emotions I couldn't decipher till he got too close. I could see my reflection in his pupils. My brain froze, stammering, what's wrong? Kevin cupped my face with his hands, his gaze falling on my lips. He said, close your eyes. His voice was so nice, I did it involuntarily. But after a long time, nothing happened. I cautiously opened one eye, only to meet Kevin's displeased gaze. Confused, I raised my eyes and saw a pair of cat paws on Kevin's forehead. Cat paws? Perplexed, I looked up and saw Barbara's chubby chin and round belly. It stood on the sofa armrest behind my head, its serious expression making me burst into louder laughter in Kevin's resentful gaze. Kevin was truly unhappy afterwards, squatting next to Barbara and nagging away. What you're doing is not right. Fathers should kiss mothers, no goodies without good deeds, blah blah blah. He looked like a son who's been spoiled by his dad and was now filled with anger. Barbara, under his rant, turned over and slept even more soundly. This angered Kevin further, threatening to throw it out to become a stray cat. I peeked out from the kitchen, trying to stop this family discord. You can't. Kevin was startled, immediately retracting his hand, returning to his usual reserved self. I remained silent. I eyed him, refusing to continue the conversation. Kevin, flustered, said, I was just scaring it. I never intended to actually throw it out. Oh, I nodded, then asked, aren't you scared of cats? Kevin bluntly replied, I'm fine now. I raised an eyebrow, marveling, that's a medical miracle. Kevin awkwardly agreed with me, then turned to complain on WeChat, I really hate that smelly cat. I'm not scared of cats, I just envy it for being able to be close to your wife. I ruthlessly exposed him, that's called jealousy. Kevin, sharp, correct, hit the nail on the head. Crying, I advised him to mend his relationship with the family cat, to which Kevin reluctantly agreed. After a while, he asked, Teacher, I would like to invite my wife to the company's celebration, do you think it's okay? I hesitated and asked him why he wanted to invite his wife. He said, I used to worry that she hated me, that she wouldn't want to attend events with me. But now I understand, I want to openly show her my love. I want her to know, and I want the whole world to know. I love her. My heart skipped a beat. This was the first time I accompanied Kevin to a public event. I wore a navy blue slim-cut dress and linked arms with Kevin as we entered the celebration venue. As soon as we walked in, many eyes fell on me. There were surprise, admiration, and unfriendly looks. I followed the gaze and saw Lily standing in the crowd, her face as dark as a pan. Kevin noticed my reaction and whispered, That's my assistant. I nodded, saying, I know. I had known Lily a year ago. It was when Kevin and I had just gotten married. I was quite fond of Kevin due to his looks and his kindness towards me, so I had a liking for him. That day, I made some pastries and brought them to Kevin's company, wanting to surprise him. But I was stopped by Lily at the entrance of the building. She blocked the company's entrance, not letting me in. Kevin asked me to deliver a message, he really dislikes you. Please don't come here again. Lily was Kevin's assistant, so I didn't doubt her words. I distanced myself from Kevin, playing the role of a tool in a business marriage. But now it seemed that Lily had lied back then. At that moment, a voice interrupted my thoughts. You must be Kevin's wife, truly a beauty and talent, a man said. I pulled myself together, put on a graceful smile, and struck up a conversation with Kevin's business partner. After the man left, Kevin asked, was it boring? Not too bad, I shook my head. Then I couldn't help but add, you look handsome like this. Kevin's eyes lit up, what do you mean? Being able to handle business situations with ease and engage in conversation is handsome. I didn't finish, feeling a tug on my wrist pulling me away. I turned around, seeing Lily's retreating figure. She held a bottle of red wine, gripping my wrist with her other hand. Ignoring the peculiar looks from everyone, she marched forward, confidently. Ignoring all the stares, she dragged me away, Kevin following behind in confusion. He tried to ask what was going on but was cut off by Lily. Don't speak, follow me. Kevin hesitated, falling silent. Lily led me to a quiet, deserted balcony and let go of my hand. Kevin furrowed his brows, looking at my blushing wrist, gingerly rubbing it. We exchanged a glance. He silently asked me what was wrong, and I could only shrug to indicate I didn't know either. Lily stood with her back to us, took a swig of wine, and finally spoke. As soon as she opened her mouth, a thunderous hiccup came out. Kevin gasped, I really like you, I've liked you for so long, even when you were married, I liked you. It seemed like a confession. I mouthed to Kevin, asking if I should make a move away, but Kevin hugged me and his eyes warned me not to move. Helpless, I stayed put to listen. I was thinking that if you don't like Catherine, I still have a chance. But then you made an official announcement. How am I supposed to do now? I used a disapproving look to condemn Kevin. Look, see what you've done. Kevin helplessly covered my eyes. But if you have a slight liking for me, I don't mind. Lily finally gathered the courage and turned around abruptly. We stared at each other. She couldn't finish her sentence. I silently closed the gap between Kevin's fingers, feeling a bit awkward. I didn't mean to listen. You got the wrong person. The cold night wind blew, making me shiver. Kevin took off his suit jacket and draped it over me. Lily seemed to be sobered up a bit by the cold wind, losing her arrogant attitude. Kevin spoke in a cold voice. Lily, I have never had any intentions towards you in that way. Lily looked disappointed, but we've known each other since childhood. Kevin pinched his brow, looking helpless. Just because we grew up together doesn't make us childhood sweethearts. When you were a kid, I even changed your diapers. When your father came to me asking to arrange a job for you in our company, that's how you ended up as my assistant, always hesitant to make you work. Kevin couldn't bear it anymore. Because your work abilities were too poor, I couldn't let you work as a cleaner, so I had to give you a less demanding position. The more Kevin talked, the angrier he got, and he scolded Lily fiercely. You couldn't even make a simple report. I had to guide you personally for everything. When asked to book a plane ticket for a client, you booked a business class ticket for his assistant and an economy class ticket for the main client, nearly losing the deal. Not only were you inefficient at work, you were always late or leaving early. You couldn't even serve coffee to clients without spilling it on them. I dare not let you work, for fear of ruining the company. If your father hadn't begged me repeatedly, I would have fired you already. Kevin stared down at her, his voice cold and deep. Do you have anything else to say? Lily, with a pale face, couldn't utter a complete sentence. Finally, her lips trembled, and tears streaming down her face, she ran away crying. After Lily left, I told Kevin about what had happened earlier. His expression was shocked and puzzled, and he fell silent for a long time. I'm sorry, Catherine, it's all my fault. I wondered, shouldn't it be Lily's fault? Kevin shook his head slightly. I didn't know she liked me, and I never disliked you. I always liked you. His voice sounded nervous. Catherine, do you have a slight liking for me? Even just a little bit? Kevin's words left me in a daze. I recalled his ramblings on a certain blog, his loving breakfast for me, the kiss he placed on my forehead, and his silly smile while holding a candied fruit stick. How could one not be moved by such a Kevin? He took 99 steps toward me, leaving just one step for me to take. I like you. As soon as I said this, Kevin hugged me tightly and then leaned down to kiss me. Kevin's eyes sparkled, he held my face and said excitedly, Catherine, I really like you. Catherine, I love you. The moon's gentle light enveloped us, and as I gazed at Kevin's handsome face, I finally found the courage to speak. I have something to confess. Kevin interrupted immediately, I have something to say too. I cut him off, my heart pounding, daringly shouting out, I confess. The invincible universal thunderbolt is actually me. The invincible universal thunderbolt is my WeChat pseudonym. I shut my eyes tight, afraid to see Kevin's reaction. Would he get angry and throw me in a dark room, or kick me and Barbara out of the house onto the streets? My mind was in chaos. Suddenly, I heard Kevin's voice, with a hint of amusement. Fool, I already knew. I opened my eyes bewildered, full of question marks. Kevin didn't explain further. Instead, he pulled me into his arms, his voice lowering at my ear. Marrying you wasn't a coincidence, it was something I had long planned for. I lifted my head in surprise, only to meet Kevin's gentle eyes. 2 years ago by the river in the forest park, I saw you saving someone. I tried hard to remember, and it did ring a bell. That day I was walking by the river and saw someone struggling in the water, so I jumped in to rescue him. But the water only reached up to my shins. I slipped and fell into a muddy pit because I was too hasty. To make it more embarrassing, the person in the water wasn't drowning but searching for lotus roots. Kevin was among the crowd watching, love at first sight, as he put it. I found out later that he had been looking for me, but after hearing about your marriage, Catherine, Kevin said tenderly while caressing my face, being able to marry you, I consider myself lucky. I tiptoed and planted a kiss on his lips. Me too. End of the main text. Extra story 1. After confessing to Kevin, he completely dropped the act and revealed his true self. When I asked him how he saw through my disguise, he pointed at his face. I gave him a peck on the cheek. Kevin then turned his other cheek, signaling me to give another peck. I did as told. Kevin cleared his throat and said, "You forwarded a news article on a certain blog about a woman receiving 999 roses and choosing to open and sell them. So, I was exposed on the day I received the roses? How embarrassing, especially because I later guided Kevin to seduce me." Kevin continued to taunt me proudly, "The IP addresses matched, and more importantly, your daily routines were identical to the teacher's." I was speechless and had to admit, this time my inexperience led to this, and there's going to be a next time? Kevin raised a brow. There's going to be a next time? I quickly shut up, but Kevin persisted, leaning closer. "Teacher, you haven't taught me how to sweep my wife off her feet yet." My face flushed, and I instinctively tried to move back. "I can't teach that." Kevin wrapped his arm around my waist and left a bite mark on my collarbone, his voice deep. "Then let a student teach you." Extra story 2, Kevin turned out to be a clingy, love-struck puppy disguised as a man. He took on the task of picking me up and dropping me off at work, which frightened the household driver, thinking he would lose his job. I comforted the worried driver and prepared to talk to Kevin. That's when I saw him carrying a huge box into the house. "What's this?" Kevin, looking mysterious, pulled me to the box. "Open it." I did, and it was full of couple items, from couple keychains to couple pajamas, dazzling my eyes. Kevin was proud. "I've put those in the shopping cart for a while, and now we can finally use them." As I sifted through the box, I found a pair of couple hairpins, one of a bunny and the other a fox. Placing the bunny pin on Kevin's hair and the fox pin in my own, I mentioned the driver's concerns to Kevin. But Kevin, looking serious, said, "I have to pick you up after work. I saw your male colleague wanted to take you home last time." I protested, but I declined. However, Kevin still wasn't reassured, suddenly saying, "Let me test you. If someone says they like you, how should you respond?" Me, I should say I'm married. Kevin shook his head. "That's not cold enough, it leaves room for the person to imagine." I humbly asked, "So what should I do?" Kevin pondered for a moment and then said with a spark of inspiration, "Tell them to buzz off." Me, all right. He leaned in and asked, "What's your lock screen?" I unlocked my phone to show him Barbara's cute photo. Kevin gritted his teeth. "Stupid cat." Passing by, Barbara stopped in her tracks, her big round eyes narrowing at Kevin. "Meow." "Stupid cat." "Meow." They couldn't understand each other, but they were arguing. I picked up Barbara with one hand and pushed Kevin with the other, tossing them out of the bedroom. Finally it was quiet. After a while, I received a message from Kevin. "Unbeatable Barbara in the universe, picture." Unbeatable Barbara in the universe, this photo is not bad, can be used as a lock screen. I opened it and it turned out to be a photo of Kevin and Barbara. Kevin had a sour look on his face, while Barbara was glaring, creating a funny scene. I set the picture as my lock screen and replied, "Scene. Unbeatable Barbara in the universe, Rose Heart. Extra story 3, some netizens said that the name I gave Barbara was weird, and I was very dissatisfied with that. I named her with a lot of logic, okay? Barbara is called Barbara because she has an explosive temper and likes to headbutt people. When she was still a stray cat, she always got into fights with other cats due to her bad temper. When other cats opened their mouths, she would stick her head out. When other cats stretched out their claws, she still stuck her head out. With a primary trait of being silly, she ended up having the tip of her ear bitten off. After I adopted her, I managed to establish a decent relationship with her, but she still tried to headbutt Kevin. However, Kevin was tall, with long legs and stood firmly, so she couldn't budge him and eventually gave up. Kevin always thought his unrequited love was with Am, the husky from my neighbor's house. They also had a corgi named Venus. I named them all, just like my relationship with them. One day, when I patted both their heads, Am chased after me and bit me. Venus didn't bite me, not because it liked me, but because it had short legs and couldn't catch up. A sledgehammer isn't a man's name. A sledgehammer is my best friend. She hits people like a sledgehammer, hence the name. 3 years after marrying Kevin, I got pregnant. After 10 months of pregnancy, I successfully gave birth to a daughter. She was so well-behaved, soft, and adorable. Holding her made me feel like the whole world was beautiful. How about naming her World? Kevin was drinking water and he sprayed it out, hesitating for a long time before finally saying, "Isn't that good?" I thought about it. How about pleasant? It sounded like a name for a small white dog. What about fireworks? Similar to Barbara. It made me take a deep breath. Let's think about it for a while. All right. The end.